Welcome to the PhD program at Macquarie University. Congratulations. Let me see, is this working? Yep, it's working. Okay, so I understand that some of you have been doing your PhD for a little while, but you're at this commencement program because you missed it the first time. So you will already be aware of some of the rewards and challenges of doing a PhD. For those of you who have just started, welcome to Macquarie. You've got a great journey ahead of you, and my team is here to make that journey as pleasant as possible as you do your exploration in your research area. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about some of the resources that are at your disposal that are offered by my team, as well as some of the other resources that are available at the university, and you'll get a little bit more details about them in the talks that follow. So what do we mean by HDR learning skills? Well, there's three general areas. There's the research literacy or communication part of it. So all of you, whether you're doing science PhD, humanities PhD, a creative practice PhD, even a professional doctorate, have to write a book, basically. You are writing a book that's around 80,000 words, and you may or may not have had an opportunity to do that before. So we are here to help you to do that. And also, along the way, you are likely to be publishing results that you are finding along the way in journals. So these two types of research communication are quite different. Writing a thesis for examination and writing a journal article or chapters in an edited volume for peers is quite different. So we have opportunities for developing the skills to do that. Also, there's the presenting orally at conferences and departmental seminars. And so the more practice you have of doing that, talking about your research to different sorts of audiences, communicating complex ideas, the more practice you have, the better. So we offer training and opportunities to practice. Then there's the research skills part. And a lot of you will have developed quite good research skills already through your undergraduate and maybe your master's degrees. But we also offer some specialist skills for particular software that you might be using, and your department and faculty will offer that as well. And then there's the professional development piece, which my colleague Sally is going to tell you about next, so I won't talk too much about that. But basically this is preparing you for life after the PhD and how you can be doing that even now in your very first semester. Okay, so just focusing on that first piece about research literacy, we have 3 learning advisors for HDR students, one that is looking after science, one that's looking after social science, and one that's looking after humanities. That's recognizing that there are different disciplinary discourses or different ways of communicating in those 3 kind of flavors of academia. We also believe that the best way to develop your writing and communication skills is not just by listening to somebody talking at the front for 2 hours and saying, yes, yes, I know what to do now, but actually practicing it. So we ask you to commit 6 to 8 weeks to take a writing course where you can actually practice what's being taught in class. You can get feedback on that, and you can read other people's writing and develop critical review skills as well. So we are already taking registrations for some of our writing courses. The social science course and the science course is already up on our HDR workshops registration page, and so if you're interested in doing that in your first semester, that might be something that you want to sign up for soon. The humanities one will be coming very soon as well. So we offer these at least once a semester. Okay. Yep, so that's that. And after that, you might want to consider joining a small research writing group. So these are also discipline flavored. It might not be with other students who are in the same discipline as you, but they will be from a similar discipline. And you meet usually once a fortnight, focusing on one person's draft. So if you're going to be writing a piece for publication and you want some critical feedback, this is the sort of group that you want to join, or if you just need some feedback on your writing in general. It does require some commitment because you're going to be reading a lot of other people's work, but that's really good because then you can hone your skills in self-editing as well. You don't have to have done the writing course in order to join one of these writing groups. And if you're an off-campus student, so if anyone's listening to this recording, don't think that you're excluded from joining a writing group. We can also organise online writing groups for you as well. Okay. We do run some standalone events, so if you can't commit to 6 to 8 weeks, we have writing retreats on campus, and here's where you get locked in a room for about 3 days, which you can dedicate to writing. So it's a quiet space. It gives you permission to step aside from your other responsibilities and basically write for a really long time. We have breaks and we provide food and that sort of thing. So we have a few little workshops within that writing retreat, but most of it is slabs of time to get a lot of words on the page. We also do advertise that some writing workshops, grant writing workshops, and other standalone seminars, say on writing for publication, that are run at the university. So keep an eye out for them. And then there's training in oral presentation for conference presentations, as well as the 3-minute thesis competition, which is held in September. And I encourage all of you to participate in that. It's a really good training. You might think, oh, it must be really easy because it's only 3 minutes, but it's actually very challenging to find what is the key motivation of your research, what's the key finding and the contribution, and to be able to communicate that to a general educated audience is actually quite challenging. So it will make you a much better communicator if you can describe your research in 3 minutes. So we give you training on how to participate in that and practice sessions as well. Okay, so if you are not on campus, or if you are wanting some help in the middle of the night and there's no workshop running at that time, there are a number of online resources, so the just-in-time resources at your disposal. So the screenshot that I've got up here is actually, if you've come through the Macquarie system, you may be familiar with it already. I think it's promoted highly for the undergraduates. But there are some bits in here that are useful for high-degree researchers as well. So if you are being advised by your supervisor to think more critically about what you're reading, you might want to go along to the Thinking Critically bit of online resource. So these are things that you can download. So this one, for example, might be useful for you. There's also, under here, under the assignments and exams, literature reviews. So you'll all need to do a literature review. So if you want to see, if no one's ever actually taught you how to write a literature review and now you have to do it, you might want to see what are the principles, what are we looking for in a literature review, what's useful, what's not a literature review. Okay, so just a summary of what you're reading is not a literature review. So some of these resources are really useful for research students. There's the link to that. I think you're being given these slides as a handout, so that'll be on there. Okay. And then there's an iLearn unit. So this is our Moodle unit, our learning management system at Macquarie. We call it iLearn. And this one's developed by the Department of Linguistics, and it's especially for research students. So even if you're not in the human sciences, there's a lot of great resources in here. It's not an interactive iLearn unit, so it's not associated with a face-to-face course. It's kind of like a textbook that's been put into iLearn, okay? So there's activities in there and a lot of examples. So this one, you can just look up ALRS or Ling ALRS when you're on the Macquarie homepage, and it'll take you to a self-enrollment link, okay? So that's free for all of you to use. There's the link as well if you don't want to go through the search. Okay, now under research methods and skills, as I said, a lot of these are discipline specific, so your department may offer the really specialist research methods courses. The library also runs a number of courses on the reference management or bibliographic management tools such as Mendeley and EndNote, which makes citing and writing reference lists much easier. So take one of those courses early in the piece. We also offer a statistical consulting service, and I don't know if many of you know about this, those of you who've been here for a while, because you hear this information now and you might forget about it, but I want you to remember this one. Once you've got your results, you've got all these numbers, and you want to make a story of it, you may need some advice from a statistician. And here is our resident statistician, Peter Petosh, who's there for you. You can just drop in, or you can email him to make an appointment. So Wednesday mornings he's here, or he can give you some advice over the phone or on email. So yeah, don't forget that service exists. And then we do have training in various tools that are used across campus, so for different disciplines, such as NVivo and SPSS for statistics. If you want to run a survey using Qualtrics, we have courses on that too. And they are on our HDR workshops page, which I'll show you in a sec of how to register yourself into one of those courses. Here are some other recommended resources that are outside of Macquarie, but you can have access to. So this is particularly when you're wanting to publish. You might want to look at the Elsevier College skills training. These are resources that are free for any researcher to use. If you want to know about what are some of the hurdles in publishing, what's the process, then that's a really good one to get a good overview. The Online Writing Lab by Purdue, you may have heard about this one in your undergrad as well. Some really good resources on academic writing. If you want to brush up on a particular grammar thing, if somebody keeps mentioning, for example, that you're using your prepositions a bit weirdly, you say, well, what's a preposition? And you're a bit embarrassed to ask, this is the place to go. It's got really good explanations and examples there. And then Vitae and Epigeum, they're also available for you. The Epigeum Research Master Skills course is made into an iLearn unit, so if you want to have access to that material, just email us and we can have you added to that. Unfortunately, there's no way of self-enrolling into that, but if you're just interested to see what's on there, it's got some great stuff as well. Okay, have any of you been asked to tutor in your departments yet? Can I have a show of hands? Okay, so there's maybe about a quarter of you. If you are, that's a great opportunity to take up. You don't want to take on too much, but maybe one unit in a semester with a few classes for that one unit might be a good idea. If you haven't ever taught before and you don't have a teacher's degree, then you should probably take some workshops at least. So the university does offer this program called the Tutoring Induction Program, or TIP, and the faculties are now in charge of this. So you need to contact your faculty learning and teaching team. There's the emails for them, and find out when are these TIP workshops being held. So there'll be a workshop on your first classroom experience, how to use iLearn. Some of these are face-to-face workshops, some of them are online, so it's a blended sort of course. And in the past, I'm not sure if this is still the case, but some faculties were paying their tutors to complete this course. So you'll get a certificate for sure, but you may also get paid if you complete this course. Anyway, even if you don't get paid, they're worthwhile to get some confidence as well as to know what to do, what not to do if you're asked to teach or lecture. As I said, just keep an eye on how much you're taking on. So it's a good thing for the future to have teaching in your CV, but you don't want it to take over your research, okay? So, as I said, it's good to do a few tutes of the same unit rather than 4 tutes for 4 different units where you're going to be preparing a lot for all those different units and you won't get your research done. So just manage that. Okay. Here is some other resources for preparing to teach. So I think you go to the staff page, so on the Macquarie website, then click on Teach, and then here is where you'll find some more workshops for tutors and lecturers, okay? And you can just sign up for them. I think you have to have a staff ID to sign up for those. Okay, so again, if you are off campus or if you are on campus and you've forgotten everything that I'm talking about, then you can find all this information that I'm saying here on our website. And on the iLearn unit, you'll find resources of previous workshops that we've run, that we've recorded, and handouts. This iLearn unit, you're not actually automatically enrolled into this, so I'll show you how you can get into that. This is a really important page, which I'll tell you about, where you can sign up for our workshops, and here is the website. So here it is. It looks a little bit different from previous years, but under students, research, go to training and support, and then that's where we are, okay, it's HDR learning skills. So basically it's just giving you the information I'm telling you now. This is the HDR workshops page. I took a screenshot of it last week, so this is what's coming up in March, and you can find that there, okay? So you just click on the one that you want to go to, you fill out your details, you'll get an email whether you made it onto the list or on the waiting list, and then you'll get a reminder a few days before to tell you to come. And please let us know if you can't come, because a lot of our courses and our workshops are very popular, and it's a shame when people don't come and other people miss out. Okay, so have a look at that. We've got quite a few things up there for first semester, and yeah, we would love to see you there. Okay, this is our iLearn unit where we keep our resources, and this echo block up here is where you'll find recordings of past seminars. So even like 5 years back, you can listen to something that was run here. Okay, so if you want to enroll into that, you don't have to email me, you can just go to that. You can look up HDR Learning Skills iLearn unit if you want to, or you can just go straight there to sign up for that. And you'll get announcements when new workshops are open for registration too, so it's worth signing up for this iLearn unit. Oh, sorry, did you want to take a photo of that? Okay. Now, as I said, there's a little team that we've got here that's in the HDR Learning Skills unit. So for this semester, anyway, these are your key contacts. So if you're doing social science research, so that doesn't just mean human sciences. You might be doing social science type of research in arts, in FBE, or in human sciences, and maybe even in science, and maybe even in medicine. So you could be in any faculty, but if your type of research is more social science, then Demelza is the person to speak to. If you have any questions about workshops, or if you want to join a writing group, email Demelza. Adele Thomas is our Science HDR Learning Advisor, and she will be here at least in the middle of the year. And so if you're doing sciencey type of research, again, if you're in human sciences or any of the other faculties or medicine, then Adele's your first point of contact. I think you may have met her if you're in medicine. I think she may have already spoken at your faculty commencement program. And for the humanities, for the first half of this year, it's Emily Orton. You can email her, again, if you want to join a writing group or have any questions about writing in the humanities. Okay, and I think that's all that I need to say about HDR learning skills. I just want to draw your attention to this survey. So our HDR learning advisors all have PhDs, but they are continuing to conduct research, so they can really relate to what you guys are doing. And this is a research project that my colleague Adele is conducting. It's about writing self-efficacy, and so if you could fill this out today, that would be great. If you want to leave it till later, you can do it online, and that's the URL. It's just more kind of a self-audit on your confidence in writing academically. So please fill that out, and we'll be collecting that throughout the day, at the registration desk, there's a box, and we'll collect them as well at the end of the day. So please fill that out for Adele. And I think that's it from me.